Hey friends, welcome to episode 95 of the Heat Press for Profit podcast. My name is Dave, right here with Stalls and Transfer Express. I got it on my shirt for those of you watching live here today. And if you are tuning in from Facebook to Instagram, YouTube, LinkedIn, or wherever you listen to your podcasts, drop us a line right here live. I get them real time right here on the feed, so we could address any questions or concerns that you might have specifically. These Heat Press for Profit podcasts, the content we publish on both of our YouTube channels, and of course our Heat Press for Profit Facebook group, is built to help you as a decorator. So please use it to all of your advantage. We want to see you succeed, and we want to see you make 2025 the best year yet. And today, if you don't already know based on the title, if you saw some of the promotions, we've got some huge news today that I'm so excited to tell you all about. And then I want to hear from you guys too out there, even if you're listening on a replay, because of course these podcasts are published every single week out wherever you get your podcasts. I know I love listening to them when I'm driving, learn all the up-to-date stuff in the market, or see what other apparel decorators are doing, or just the fun ones about Bigfoot or whatever podcasts are. So of course you can find this Heat Press for Profit podcast anywhere there. I do see Virgil tuning in from Oklahoma, and Darren and KJH already lighting up our chat here. So regardless of where you're listening, just comment on the video below and I'll see it in real time coming right here, and we'll be able to answer any questions. But today I've got some papers because we've got some breaking news today. Well, it's been a long time in the works, but today, I am here to announce the latest innovation in direct-to-film, and that is a brand new direct-to-film ink that really nobody has ever done before, that is going to kind of lead to a whole bunch of benefits for decorators just like you that you're going to be able to use. So not only is it cleaner, it's brighter and more colorful. You could get more saturation with it, 23% than other DTF inks out there, 23% more colors that you could get with a digital print. As a graphic designer and a printer myself, and have been in the industry for 15 years, seeing digital printing really take this evolution is such a huge step for what's possible. And for apparel decorators like you, that means that you could take so much advantage of it. You could really replicate those colors, and not only can you get those super bright saturated colors, but you could get the color matching so much more accurate now too, where you need that specific Pantone color for a brand. You're going to be on it now with direct-to-film. So huge things, right? But my favorite part is from reorder to reorder and reorder, they're going to be the exact same color, which is huge. And so part of the reasoning behind all of this was that to bring the best DTF to market, we struggle with the same kind of headaches that we hear a lot of people printing DTF in the industry. The inks, the supplies, the adhesives, the consistency. Even if you're ordering from the same vendor, it changes so much. And we have an entire research and development team, and my hat is off to them, who've put countless hours into developing these inks right here in North America, and being able to test them and ensure that they're going to bring the quality that we could put behind the UltraColor MAX name. And before anybody starts a panic, right? Any order that you currently have in the system is completely unaffected, right? So any order that you've either ordered before and you want a reorder of it, you're not going to see any difference in the colors of prints. It's going to be for new orders, right, that are using that expanded color palette. So we didn't have that expanded color before, so now it is there. So with even the RIP software and everything to pull on through, it's going to make it a just seamless process that brings this highest quality DTF and all of these things to market. But I did mention it's safer, and we should probably start there. I want to make sure I covered everything off housekeeping at the beginning of this episode too, because I'm just excited to dive into the content here today. So, of course, If you're not already subscribed to any of our YouTube channels, go over and subscribe. But if you're not already a member of our Heat Press for Profit Facebook group that is filled full of thousands of decorators just like you, from commercial print shops to headwear decorators to even the sign and banner shops that dabble in apparel printing, right? And even myself, right? So I'm in there, and I know I comment on probably 3 or 4 different posts every single day, trying to share my expertise. And I'm just one of the community members of the thousands that will jump on there. So if you need an answer in the middle of the night, or, hey, I just need to, what would you guys use for this? Hey, how would you price this? The community there is absolutely phenomenal. But of course, I love being online, and I love connecting with decorators just like you right now. But I love connecting in person. I am a people person through and through. So, of course, if you're listening to us live, the Impressions Expo in Atlantic City is next week. I'm going to be headed out there. I'm so excited. I love the Impressions Expos. I love the crowd that comes out. I love talking to decorators just like you. They're always so much fun. 3-4 days here. We have our pro day. So a full day of education from a heat press fundamentals workshop to make sure that you're printing like a pro. Or if you have an employee that is now running a heat press department, you want them to have that expert, 0 to 60. That's what the Heat Press Fundamentals Workshop is. So I'm leading that one the day before the show opens. Then we have our Heat Press Pro Day with Josh Ellsworth and Jenna Sackett and Kelly Walters, all the presenters that you know here from Stalls that are going to be in that class. And that's sharing insights on how you could boost your efficiency, how you could be successful this year. And we understand success looks different. So whether it's the profit, or you want to be more relevant, or you want to be able to diversify your markets or diversify your printing capabilities, whatever it may be, we cover so much in that 3-hour session. We get to decorate a whole bunch of stuff, and we have a lot of fun and laughs. It's very interactive. So if you're coming to Atlantic City, come on out to that show and get your ticket to the full workshop conference package, and come to Pro Day on the Wednesday before the show opens on Thursday. But we have tons of other education coming up. If you can't make it to the Impressions Expo, get on out to a Decorated Apparel Expo, a GPX Expo, or any of the other trade shows. I know Sports Inc., if you're a Sports Inc. member, if you're team dealer, any of those team sports stuff. There's Sports Inc. coming up in June. I know I'm going to be headed to, I think, a DAX show, the Decorated Apparel Expo, in May in Nashville, right? So we're always on the road, all the way to Printing United in Orlando at the end of the year, which is one of the biggest ones, not just apparel decorating. But okay, enough housekeeping. Let's get into these brand new inks, right? And the first thing is really why, right? So why did we develop a new ink? I already kind of covered a little bit, and those for those of you just joining us, we're talking about brand new UltraColor MAX inks, right? And we talked about why, because there's an inconsistent supply chain regardless of where you're getting your DTF supplies. And so that is a major pain point that a lot of people don't talk about when they talk about, oh, I'm just going to go out and buy a DTF printer. It never is that simple, right? The inconsistent supply chain is just one headache in the exhaust and venting that you need. You need the climate-controlled environment, the humidity, the temperature. You need print heads because they're going to break, get clogged, and get damaged, and they're going to damage your quality. You're going to have those banding, the grain in your prints. You're going to have inks leaking everywhere. I've seen DTF printers that have to be like bungee corded together because they shake off their stands. There's so much, that people don't tell you about buying a DTF printer. And I've heard so many decorators from large, huge commercial shops that are like, we don't ever want to buy a DTF printer. It's not something that we want to get into. And I always like talk about why. Why do you need a DTF printer? Do you need same day turnaround? Then yeah, okay, maybe. But there's not many people that need that like same day turnaround. And there's so many decorators absolutely crushing it out there, even printing on demand for online stores, that with, next day turnaround, essentially, they're getting their direct film transfers just arriving at their door. They don't need the space. They don't need anything for a DTF printer, right? So that's one, when we talk about the inconsistent supply chain. But number two, we have to talk about safety. With direct-to-film being so brand new, we know that there's chemicals in the inks, right? And while that's why you need that commercial venting when you're curing the adhesives, you need to make sure it gets out of the room and you're not fogging up a room with all these chemicals. And that's something that even the printers will say, like, don't install a direct-to-film printer in your home if you don't have commercial venting to get it outside, right? We definitely health for you, your employees, your family, whoever it may be, is top priority, right? Like we're printing T-shirts here. Please keep them safe. But with customers caring and the transparency that is coming into the decorating process, and any retail storefront even, we have to talk about that. So whether it's buying that school spirit wear tee, maybe you're working with influencers or social media influencers, creatives that are creating merch and selling a line, they want to know what they're getting, right? So these new UltraColor MAX inks are CPSIA compliant for here in the United States. They're Oeko-Tex 100 certified, which makes sure that they are good to use. And then they're also certified for Prop 65 in California. So they are not known to cause any birth defects or cancer or any reproductive harm or anything like that. So certified safe, went through all of the lab testing, and so that you're getting a safe product. So that was kind of paramount, the first check mark on our team's list. We want to make this process safer. Of course, we've always had the correct venting in all of our facilities and testing the volatile compounds coming off of the inks. This takes it to the next level, and we really hope that there are other companies that follow suit, right, and just make everything a better place. I don't know if they have our research and development team to develop these inks, though, because that's truly the magic. I know those guys. There's a few of them around the country, and I'll give them a shout out, Mike and Joe. These guys are just absolutely brilliant minds. And I'm a designer, right? So when we talk about color, I'm a nerd about any way we put ink on a substrate. And a lot of times when I talk to them, a lot of what they're saying is so in depth that I'm always just floored by their dedication to bringing the best solution to market. Number one, because they're kind of nerds like me about getting it right and putting ink on substrate and making it the best quality. But that's why we have them here at Stahls. So that's definitely one thing that is top of the list when we talk about safety with inks. Now, we know that there are eco-conscious buyers out there. So this is a selling point now that you could use if it's Oeko-Tex 100 certified, CPSIA compliant, whether you're printing infant gear, right? We know children's and youth apparel is such a hot market. You want to make sure that it's safe for everybody to wear at the end of the day. Or even if you're producing shirts at home, that you want to make sure it's safe to be using in your home, right? So we know there are some cheap DTF supplies that contain some harmful chemicals. And if you've been even around one of those trade shows, right, where they have a DTF printer, it just doesn't smell right? It just smells funny being around that thing without the proper ventilation. So that's one thing to definitely keep in mind when we look at the DTF prints, right? So we talked about the safety of it, right? We talked a little bit about the compliance factor and how you could use that as a marketable advantage, right? Yes, our prints are not only durable, but they're safe to wear. And your customers are going to enjoy those vibrant colors too. So it's all in there. But safe for kids, safe for anybody with sensitive skin, that you're not going to have that reaction. I think there is, I have to read this one out, right? Because the chemicals specifically listed, the ethylene glycol is now no longer in the inks. The tetraethylene glycol, not in the inks, and formaldehyde is completely removed. So these toxic chemicals that not necessarily you're not touching on your body, but they are removed for a cleaner, safer ink. So really excited about that. We do kind of have some videos coming out a little bit later this afternoon, immediately following this, that kind of breaks into it, and you could see a little bit of those differences in just the vibrancy of the inks of what we're able to achieve, even with these new ones here. So with compliance and safety kind of covered first, right? The real flashy thing is these colors, right? So that increased 23% color gamut that now you could get with UltraColor MAX. So we're talking just super, super bright, vibrant colors. You're not going to see those color shifts where you're designing an RGB on your screen and then you go to print it and it looks dull. So that's going to be greatly reduced here, because those, when we talk about color gamut, essentially think of a wheel, the color wheel, right? We all did it in art school or art class when we were kids. You made a little color wheel, right? And that's that's your gamut of the colors that you can make. And there are colors that our eyes could see that we can't replicate with, say, ink on a substrate. The way your eyes see light in an RGB color mode is a lot different than we see printed with it, which is CMYK. Or if you remember those art class days where it was red, blue, and yellow, right? So CMYK is essentially cyan, magenta, yellow, and K stands for key or black, right? So of course, all the colors mixed together. If you remember, your art class was black, right? Or a muddy brown, depending on how you were mixing it. But we could see so many more colors with light, and computer monitors could make so many more colors than what we could replicate with CMYK printing. So being able to get that expanded gamut without the need for any spot color inks and or get that spot color ink, super important. Now, one thing when we talk about that, one of the main points of that is the pigment density of the inks. And that's something that, number one, makes them vibrant, but number two, reduces any of that grain, right? I'm sure we've all seen it. It looks like an old photograph. You have a nice gradient or a solid color on a direct-to-film print, and it looks almost stippled when you look at it. And that's because the white backing of that transfer is showing through. So I see it on so many of those, let's say, the cheapest you could get transfers. Not all DTF is created equal, and that's really what you're paying for. So it goes kind of hand in hand with what you're able to achieve, the saturation of colors, the professional look, right? We want our shirts to look professionally printed, right? And that's the beauty of having a heat press and direct-to-film transfers, a screen print transfers, anything like that, right? You could get these professional results from anywhere, whether you're on site, you're working out of your garage, a spare office, your home, or in, the corner of a print shop, right? That you're able to get these professional results with a very, very small footprint. But when you introduce, poor quality transfers into it, it kind of ruins that ability for you as a decorator, because now your prints kind of look like they're coming off that desktop inkjet Epson printer that you had that you just made your copies on, right? And it's running out of ink and it has the banding in the prints. That's not going to help your business grow. That's not going to wow your customers, right? So, I ask, like, are you losing out by on wowing customers with poor quality DTF? Is it worth it to save those couple cents up front if you have to go out and spend $50 to go get a new customer in ads on Facebook, or your time going in and walking in local businesses and doing that face-to-face marketing and meeting people, right? That's a time investment. So much easier to grow a brand and grow a business keeping your current customers thrilled, right? And I love it. I was just talking with some folks in the industry the other day, and we were talking about how your customers could be your largest marketing force for you, right? Because if you have fans, right, they are wowed by your service all the time. Then they get asked, "Oh, hey, those T-shirts you guys have are awesome. Oh man, let me tell you about Dave. He went through this entire process, showed us all these things." Literally the best experience, and the quality of these is phenomenal. We got them at a great price, he asked us about what we're using them for, made some suggestions and all this stuff that really is going to act. Then hearing that from a trusted source, right? If your customers are referring you, that's more weight than any paid marketing could ever do for you, because it's a trusted source that somebody trusts that's raving about your business. So keeping your customers happy is key to growing a business, and quality prints is number one on the top of that list, right? Nobody's going to see those lines in the T-shirt and be like, "Who'd you get that T-shirt from?" "Oh, I got it from Dave. The service was awesome." Okay, I'm not ordering from that guy. There's lines in that print, right? So you want to avoid that stuff, and that's exactly what these UltraColor MAX inks are built to do, to be the highest quality, highest color saturation, and really that better DTF on the market. You're going to be able to take advantage of no pricing increase at all. The service essentially from Transfer Express or Stalls or wherever you're getting your UltraColor MAX remains completely unchanged. So Really definitely something to check out. So I see Mallory saying awesome. And Mallory says too, 100% on the customers being your biggest marketing asset, right? That is my entire business. I do not advertise. My customers do that for me. Thank you, Mallory, for that insight, because it is. We hear so many decorators just like Mallory have those successes, those wins. If you energize your customers and give them the best quality and the best experience that they can, now it doesn't even come down to price, right? When we're talking about winning a job, they're not going to go and quote it on custom ink, right? Like, they're not looking for the bottom of the barrel price. No, I like working with Mallory. I like working with Dave, and I'm going to go and work with them, right? So big shout out to Mallory too. I mentioned the Heat Press for Profit Facebook group. And I know Mallory is a top contributor in there. And actually was just responding to a comment of hers probably like 20 minutes ago over in the Heat Press for Profit group. So if you're not already a member of the Heat Press for Profit Facebook page, go over there, join the community of apparel decorators. And that's one thing. Like, I've been in so many communities, from music industries to, every other little hobby that I've had, and everything's always so competitive when it should be collaborative. And that's one thing that I enjoy so much in the apparel decorating industry, is whether you're brand new, whether you are an established business, there are so many people willing to share their experience and help you out, right? So, and Mallory says too, I'm a solo in my business, but I love this group, and learning and helping where I can is huge for me. In the past 7 years, I've learned so much. And see, that's the story we hear over and over again about. I'll put that comment up on screen just because how impactful it is. But we hear this over and over again, especially people who feel so grateful for the help they received over the years, and now that they have the experience behind them, they're willing to help out others as well. And I gotta say, I've been decorating for 15 years, and I have made a ton of mistakes. And if I could help you from making one of those your own, man, it's a win-win for everybody, right? So definitely one thing to keep in mind there. And go join that Facebook group. Mallory told you to. So yeah. Yeah, Doug says a great thing too here. Like, right, like I'll pull this one up on screen too. Wish I had $1 for everyone says I didn't know you did that, right? So that marketing kind of help, the marketing lift, right, is either getting recommended by somebody else or just showing off your services, right? And when you're like, man, what do I talk about? What do I talk about? Like, being a content creator myself, I know how that is, right? And it's so easy. And now you say, hey, we have cleaner inks, right? Our inks are cleaner than the other guy. Our product here, we'll be transparent about our process. And when we talk about like sustainability becoming this huge initiative, right? And it's across the board. Every industry wants to be more sustainable, right? As we collectively want to provide better products and reduce, especially in our industry, the brand fill, right? All of this branded merchandise that just ends up in a landfill because it's swag. Somebody's like, oh, cool, that's great, I'm never going to wear that, and throws it away, right? So we've seen this rise of on-demand printing. But we'll touch on that a little bit more in a minute. But right up there with sustainability is that transparency in the process, right? Where are you sourcing your goods from? And you'll see that a lot on, even from like Etsy listings to, you go to Custom Ink, right? It's going to tell you where the garment's manufactured. They're a lot more transparent about how decoration methods and how things are made. Customers feel great, and you build trust, building that transparency, and then they feel good buying from you. So any information that you could put up front definitely helps when you talk about your services compared to the other print shop down the street. That might even still be helping you out, right? Because when you go to these like trade shows and expos, everybody's so willing to help you with information. And we live in this internet world, right? Even we're in a global competition with everybody doing decorated apparel. And, even people in the same town as you could become a mentor or really help your business grow. So super important to keep in mind there when we talk about just business tips. But that transparency is definitely something that you're going to want to include in even like your product listings, right? When we talk about like, well, what could I put on my product that's going to be relevant for SEO, is going to optimize it for conversions, right? People are going to see this listing and go, this is the one, I'm going to buy it, right? any little bit of transparency and being transparent about the inks and saying, these are CPSIA compliant, Oeko-Tex certified, Prop 65, good to go, that you don't have any problems with those down the road. And it's a marketable advantage for you and your business, right? So definitely one thing to keep in there, or keep in mind there. But yeah, I already talked about the 23% more vibrancy in the ink. So that's 23% more colors that you could achieve in the color palette that was there with our standard UltraColor MAX ink. So this is not changing any experience. It is literally just expanding the capabilities while being safer too, right? So you'll see that you do have really, really nice fine detail on it still. We have some examples that we were printing that's this like frog graphic, and you could see every little frogs have smooth skin, right? But there's like little detail in the skin that you could actually see in the transfer, and it came through so great. The colors are so saturated and vibrant that it's just, it looks almost like a screen. Like the neons and stuff that you're able to achieve now that are just like, they pop, these colors pop. And I always thought like the reds with our UltraColor MAX were vibrant. And yeah, they sure are. So this just takes it up a notch. If you want to experience them, just request some samples and you'll see these, or go ahead and order something with some vibrant colors in it. With no minimums, just throw them on your next order at Stalls or Transfer Express. And with 6 cents a square inch and no minimum, you can be paying 6 cents if you just do a little 1x1 square of some vibrant magenta or something. You're going to see these things like jump off the shirt when printed. But the real benefit that I love is that accuracy, right? So it's not just more colors, but it's more accurate colors, order after order. We understand how important it is for apparel decorators to have that consistency when you're working with a school, right? You have that branded blue and yellow for the school, and regardless if they're ordering now or ordering later, that they're all the same. And I'm going to bring up print on demand again, right? Because we see so many customers like stores, right? At schools, Spirit Wear, the team and league shops, right? That are like, we just want a catalog online so people could go and buy things whenever, right? Can you do that? Yes, there are so many softwares out there, just like Stalls Fulfill Engine, that allow you to do that. But even if you want to run a Shopify store for somebody, right? You're ordering a print today, and you're maybe ordering the same exact print 2 days from now, right? But odds are those people are going to stand next to each other in a photo sometime, or corporate apparel that same exact way, right? The customer says, hey, I want to avoid those 900 shirts that I know 700 of them get thrown out, that we give them to everybody once a year. They maybe wear them for the company picnic, and then that's it. They never wear them ever again. They get thrown out. I want to actually give people something that they're going to wear. So let me give them an online store where my employees could go and pick out the styles that they actually want to wear. So your customer, right, is maximizing their spend, making their employees happy, and you're able to supply them that with, say, just an online store. But the yellow in their logo needs to match every single time that you produce that, right? So no variance in that. And that's what these new inks really, really excel at. So not just more colors, more accurate colors. If you order today, if you order that same design next week or 3 weeks down the road, right? So that's something with just digital printing in general, right? That's why screen printing has always been this, tried and true Pantone matching system that you can match this exact spot color ink and it's the same all the time. The McDonald's yellow is, Pantone 123 every single time. That's what it is, right? But now you're able to get that with direct to film, and it's so incredible that you're not going to have one of those blues look slightly lavendery, right? Or like, whoa, that one looks a little green. Never going to happen with these UltraColor MAX inks. They are absolutely phenomenal from what I've seen, and trust in the team doing it too. But we talked about that on-demand printing, and that's where they come in, right? Tim Sizemore has a great question here. Let's pull it up on screen. With the updated inks, will a solid print that is larger have a softer hand as a result to go along with the brighter colors? So that is one thing. The soft hand is something that we wanted to maintain. We've always thought that UltraColor MAX, compared to a lot of other DTF out on the market, is lighter, stretchier, and more pliable. It rebounds quicker than a lot of those other cheaper inks. So that was one thing that we absolutely needed to keep. That is, we've heard customers love, your customers love, as well as decorators love working with, is the lighter inks that UltraColor MAX is known for. Not like the paper, like, right? It's still a direct-to-film print, it's still a digital print, and the lightest of all digital prints that have ever hit the heat transfer market, right? But yes, it is still very lightweight. It's going to feel, in the comparison testing that we did, even with like huge, solid, full coverage ink designs, I thought it felt lighter, right? And we were printing on 100% cotton shirts, so we weren't doing any performance wear, but feels the same or lighter than what UltraColor MAX currently was. I don't know if there's a measurable metric on that, but that's just based off the Dave feel. So if you want to put that on the on the Dave feel thing. So Margaret says, definitely here to learn starting a t-shirt business. So Margaret, you found the right place. Stalls is here with 92 years of experience that we've helped thousands of other people completely free, right? We're not selling online courses, at least not to my knowledge. Everything we offer is free, either ebooks on site, on stalls or transferexpress.com, from starting a t-shirt business to what heat press buying guide that you should get, or what heat press should you get buying guide, all the way to specific markets, designing, right? Not everybody's a designer, so we have the Easy View Online Designer that makes it incredibly easy. And while we're talking about UltraColor MAX improvements, have you guys seen the AI Assist available over on Transfer Express? This is an incredible software. You could one-click halftone DTF designs. It automatically resizes artwork for you and upscales it so that you have there's no blockiness or pixelization. It uses AI to essentially replicate the pixels and make it crisp, clear, and sharp. It removes soft edges, which I know for DTF is like the biggest thing. Like, man, soft edges, the transparency, you can't print that with direct to film. So, and I know Margaret is probably listening now and like, whoa, you just threw a whole bunch of stuff out there. And there's a wide world of apparel decorating, direct to film transfers, screen print transfers in a heat press, along with some maybe like DTF hybrid transfers, like the screen print, digital hybrid, like our UltraColor Pro line. Of course, heat transfer vinyl, if you have a Cricut or a vinyl cutter at home, definitely a way to do it, but applied correctly, right? So Margaret, find our Stalls TV YouTube channel as well as our Transfer Express YouTube channel. 24/7 on-demand education that covers everything from markets you could target to how to better market your t-shirt business, how to get your first customers, right? And then how to have success with quality application and everything that goes into that. So it's not just me. It's literally everybody here at Stalls and Transfer Express, from the front door to the press floor, that wants to see your business succeed. And every single one of us will be your biggest cheerleader, happy to help. So head on over to that Heat Press for Profit Facebook group, and you're going to find an entire community of decorators that was just like you, just like Mallory and Tim here that we were talking about. Let's see, what was that website you said when you were first talking with Mallory? So that's the Heat Press for Profit Facebook page. So if you go over to Heat Press for Profit, just search it in the Facebook page, you'll see a group, and it's Heat Press for Profit, sponsored by Stalls, I think is the official name of it, or powered by Stalls. And that is, a lot of heat printing advice, apparel decorating. I know there's screen printers in there as well, but an entire community that is just a Facebook group, an open forum for all types of decorators. And I see Carly there behind the scenes putting us in here, and linking us in there for everybody on Facebook or YouTube being able to see that one. So Frankenstein says, let's talk about sublimation jerseys. We're talking about direct to film here. I love direct to film because you could apply it to cotton, polyester, lights, darks. Sublimation is cool, but it does have its limitations. Now, when you talk about cut and sew, like, that's a whole different ball game, right? So sublimation, cool. Definitely hit the market hard in the early thousands. But DTF has really rose in popularity. I even just saw our good friend Ty Kane of Crafted Manufacturing out in Colorado, who did, like some cut and sew pocket tees. Ty, I hope you're okay with me talking about it because they're so cool, right? Essentially, it's just direct to film specifically cut to the size of a pocket on a pocket tee. And they look so cool with a cool pattern on them. But like that kind of stuff with direct to film takes it to the next level. 100% cotton tees, 50-50 blends, tri-blends, even fleece, right? You could do it for all of it. And it's so cool to be able to do. So cool that I might even make a video about it. Sorry, Ty, I'm going to blow up your spot on that. Oh, we're good friends with Ty Kane. If you're coming out to the Impressions Expo in Atlantic City next week, Ty will be there. And if you're listening on the replay, the Atlantic City Expo is going on right now because it'll release next week. So the third week of March. I hope to see you guys there. But when we talk about print on demand, and I'm going to wrap this up here, print on demand is fueled in this meteoric rise now. It's been around since maybe 2012, 2013, right? Like maybe coming up on 10 years of like commercially viable print on demand. I know there's been companies doing it for about 20 years, but with the ups and downs, right? Direct to garment really empowered print on demand to become a thing, because you're able to do that one piece. But direct to garment was expensive and limited. Just like sublimation that could go on polyester, direct to garment could only go on cotton up until just a couple years ago. Or if you have pretty much a lot of money, you could get printers that do that, which is fine. I know shops that have them and they're cool, right? But not everybody has that liberty to go out and spend that chunk of change, 10 years of income on a direct-to-garment printer for when they get a polyester order. But direct-to-film is so versatile, being able to apply to that polyester, the cotton poly blends, the fleece, the sweatshirts. It stretches, it rebounds. You put it on belt bags and fanny packs or backpacks. All of these items are really unlocked at a minimum quantity of just one, which is why we see this kind of meteoric rise of print on demand, whether it's just somebody running an Etsy shop and limiting that risk, right? I don't want stacks and stacks of pre-printed inventory, because if those don't sell, that's money out of my pocket. And I know that firsthand, right? We used to buy a whole bunch of bulk shirts for my band, which is the reason why I started screen printing in the first place. But we would have, we buy shirts 144, 250, 260 at a time. And we would go sell them. But the band now hasn't played in 5 years, and I still have hundreds of shirts, I'm sure, in my garage. I've donated 2 boxes of them based on me telling this story about a year ago. And someone's like, hey, why don't you go donate those to Goodwill? And I was like, you know what? I need that room in my garage. But there's a part of me that's still sentimental and thinking the band's going to get back together someday. And we're going to need merch, right? But we'll probably just end up printing on demand new merch for that too. So Alex says I could sell those shirts. All right. Yes, they are pre-printed with my band on the front in a graphic that I designed. So I think they look real cool, but it would be so great to just have those blank, right? Because I would have used them now by this point. And that's what print on demand is for those Etsy users. And direct to film and high quality direct to film, nobody even bats an eye that it's not screen printed, right? Or, oh, this isn't good quality. If you're not using good quality materials, it's not good quality. It's the same with, like, if you go buy the cheapest blank t-shirt that you could buy, right? And you go put it up on a retail shelf, unless you're like Supreme or like a really, really huge clothing brand, which does that exact same thing. There's a reason the American Apparel, or it's now the American Apparel 1301, but it used to be the All Style 1301, was the streetwear tee. And I think blank, at least back in the day before inflation, it was, $1.45 for a blank black t-shirt, right? And they print just a left chest on it and go sell it for $45, right? But unless you're one of those brands, nobody's going to perceive your quality as elevated, right? So you want to make sure all band shirts sell for us. Alex, we might be in touch. We might have you sell some of these shirts for me. That's awesome. I see Finance and Freedom Hub here says, I'm excited to get my marketing kit from Transfer Express. And yes, I was talking about the marketing help here. If you don't know about the marketing kit, it's so much more than just samples, right? So it has tools that are going to help you be a confident apparel decorator. It also has assets in there to help you sell, from social media reels, right? Vertical format. I know it's super intimidating for a lot of people to record content, but social media is playing such a large part in organic, right? Just the stuff you post, not paying for ads. Organic social media is helping so many businesses out, especially when you have like an Etsy store or a TikTok shop, right? And you're producing on demand with direct-to-film transfers and just a heat press, you could have a super high profit, low risk business from home, right? But you need to get the word out there, and social media is a great place to do it. This marketing kit includes sample videos in vertical format that you could post directly to Instagram, or stitch it together with just you kind of pressing some shirts up or holding shirts up. And they are professional assets ready to go. So we had our entire video team take video of them. They also took photographs of everything. So you have stuff that you could put on your website, or like if you just started your Facebook profile right now, you could start putting all this stuff in there. And a lot of the marketing legwork's already done for you. It also connects to the EasyView Online Designer. So if you're not a graphic design pro, I will say I'm a graphic design pro right here, but you don't need to be one. So yeah, check out a marketing kit if you want to get into that. Let's see, just going through, I want to make sure. Went to the next level. Tina says, geez, you really went to the next level. Yeah, we went off topic a little bit here. Started with how awesome these brand new inks are at Transfer Express installs for UltraColor MAX, which is really just raising the bar for what's capable with direct-to-film transfers. Talked about building transparency in your process and telling your customers you have the highest quality and safest inks on planet Earth, right? So you have all of that here for your prints. That's marketable advantage for you to your end customer, and you're going to love the colors and the consistency that you're going to get with that. But with that, I thank everybody for tuning in here today. Of course, the Heat Press for Profit podcast airs every single week, Thursdays at 3 p.m. Live across Facebook and LinkedIn, our YouTube channels, as well as Instagram. And then the next week is published to wherever you get podcasts, whether it's Apple or Spotify or SoundCloud or Napster, if they're still a thing, or wherever you get your podcast, you'll find it there. Apple Music, iHeartRadio, wherever you listen to podcasts, this is out every single week. But I thank you guys for tuning in, listening about these new DTF inks. Go get yourself a sample pack if you want to see what they look like. Go order a brand new order or reorder an old order and see how spot on it is, right? So Stalls and Transfer Express really raising the bar here with what's available with direct-to-film. But I want to thank you guys for tuning in here to episode 95 of the Heat Press for Profit podcast. Head on over to our YouTube pages at Stalls TV or just Transfer Express and smash that subscribe button. Stay up to date, and we'll be pushing out those videos here in just a couple minutes, so you can see some of the difference and see some of what we talked about today, and maybe not as free-flowing and tangents and getting pulled in different ways of questions, but that's why I love this format, all built to help you as a decorator succeed. So hey, let's get out there. 2025, let's crush it. It's your year if you're starting your business, or if you're already an established business and like Mallory going on year 8 now, right? Year 8's going to be the best one yet. I'm in your corner. We're going to do it. And until next time, I'm Dave. Happy pressing.